It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 8th day of August, 2020. Welcome one and welcome all. It's been a kind of a wild and woolly morning this morning. It's literally in the last hour, well, maybe hour and a half, I had to completely rewrite the show today with when I was able to confirm, excuse me, some breaking news out of Italy, which I'll get to in a minute. Unfortunately, it's not real great news for us in the U.S., but it's terrific news for our friends on the other side of the pond and those of us that are planning to head that way sometime in the next year, as I am, a little over a year from now. But anyway, we'll get to that in a second. But first, folks, and this might be a little arrogance on my side, but so be it. I'm going to share with you a post that my son wrote last night. Some of you follow him and know a little bit about him. He's pretty big in the PR world. Social media world. He's an author and quite a speaker. He travels literally around the world speaking a lot. But he made a post last night, and I'm going to share a lot of the subject matter with you because he makes some very valid points. And I will tell you, when he wrote it in his anger, I'm going to add out some of the more colorful language. If you look it up and read the whole thing, you'll see what I mean. But as he reported earlier last night, he has 8 family members that were diagnosed with COVID, and then an aunt added 4 more from in-law extension, so that's a total of 12. Now, folks, this is not on my side of my son's family. It's my ex-wife's and her family. As a matter of fact, her brother, who is our age or close to our age, is one of the folks involved. But anyway, Jason continues with this, that the root cause to his understanding was exposure from one person during a medical situation where the family member was helping the person who exposed him, who did not know he was positive. He could have gotten it from anywhere, and Jason is choosing to believe that he got it from one of you folks who won't wear a mask, you self-righteous, mouth-breathing so-and-sos. I edited so-and-sos in. But it's not about the mask holes. It's all of us. Yes, we should wear masks. Yes, we should socially distance. But doing so only reduces risk. It doesn't eliminate it. When you step outside your house, which I will assume for the sake of this rant, your house is COVID-free, you accept risk. And we all have to. Jason says, I have to get food. I have to get gas. But the cases keep going up. Death rates weren't going down, and in fact, have been an uptick these last few weeks. But we don't have to go to ball games. Jason admits that he and the kids have been guilty of that and decided to do that no more. We don't have to take a vacation. They canceled theirs. He was coming here and they canceled out. We don't have to go out for drinks or dinner with friends. We don't have to take in-person business meetings. Everyone's risk tolerance will be different. I'm becoming more and more scared that the wrong people in my family are going to get the disease from others and die. And if that really isn't hitting you square between the eyes right now, excuse me, come over to my place. I'll sanitize you from head to toe so I can safely slap you into next week, where another 8,000 people will be dead from COVID. We don't have to do these things. But what are we doing? We're opening schools. What planet are we on that this is okay? There are 5 times as many cases reported daily now than there were when we did the sensible thing back in the spring and shut everything down. And we're opening schools and planning college football games. This is rational, logical, and provable. We are stupid, dumb morons. Blame Trump all you want. Blame China if you like. Blame whatever governor or mayor you think didn't react fast enough or violated your rights. But please have a little sliver of self-respect left. Make sure you don't blame them while you're sitting at a summer league baseball game, taking pictures of Junior, who's chest bumping his mask with his maskless teammates between innings. Those teammates' mamas go to Walmart and lick people. So Jason makes some very valid points. You guys all know my feelings about it. Wear your mask. Be safe. And the people out there that don't, man, they're killing us, literally. Okay, we'll get to a word from about things going on in Europe and some other stuff, but let's get the commercial out of the way first. Here's a word from Sit Around.
Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scoot Around. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scoot Around for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise.
All right, before I get to the story, you guys probably noticed if you're over there in the chat, and I see there's a bunch of people that have been in chat, and I'll get back to you guys in a little bit. I put a link up at the top of chat, which is the new fan page, I guess you call them that, for the Cruise Amigos. As you know, that's a show that I co-host with Pete from London and John from up in Minnesota on Sundays, and we've had just fabulous guests. By the way, the show tomorrow is with the Associate Vice President of International Sales of Virgin Voyages, Shane Riley, going to be another just fabulous guest. And what we've done, folks, in the past, we've only been doing this now for a couple months. I think 14 shows or something, 15 shows, something like that. We've kind of singularly gone together with this effort, so that, you know, Pete's been posting stuff on his Cruises for Solos page and his personal page. I've been doing it on my Chillie's Cruises page and my personal Facebook page. So has John. And we've, you know, collectively we're tying all of it together, and we've ended up with this phenomenal show and a phenomenal audience, and it's exponentially grown from what any of the three of us are doing singularly. So Pete developed the fan page yesterday. It's a place that we can you can go and check on any of our shows that we've done, and go back if you've missed any of them. They're just outstanding. Who knows what content we're going to end up using on that page, but at least the shows will be there. So I point that out, and I put the link in up at the top of the chat box. I'd appreciate it if you go to it, you know, copy the link and stick it in your search bar and go to the page. Take a look at it. Let us know what you think. Of course, we'd appreciate it if you like it. That's always a help and keep traffic rolling toward it. But anyway, it's there for you guys to enjoy. It puts the show in a whole different light now. It gives its own its entity some strength. So anyway, be a good show tomorrow. It's 3:00 our time here in the Eastern Daylight Time. 8:00 London time, or whatever that, I never can remember British time, Greenwich time, whatever it is in London. 8:00, y'all. So All right, now back to Italy. And what I found to be shocking news, literally after the whole situation last week with Rudy Gurton, or this week, not last week, Italy's premier announced a series of new steps relaxing controls and permitting the additional resumption of businesses, including cruises, for the country that had been hit by COVID-19, cautioning that precautions are still necessary and that especially the younger generation should be careful in their actions. Italy's premier also said that the country was doing very well in its fight against the virus. Full details on the scope of the decision is still being released by the government, but he said that cruising would resume beginning August 15th. Cruising and relaxation of restriction to permit increases tourism are part of the government's effort to restore elements of its badly damaged economy. The government also pledged significant financial support to the restaurant industry. Now, two major cruise companies that operate from Italy had been quietly taking steps to prepare to resume operations. Both Costa Cruises and MSC Cruises reportedly are bringing crew members back for their ships and making initial preparations for a return to service. Both companies said earlier in the week that they had submitted detailed health protocols and steps that they would be taking aboard the ships when cruising resumes. And now, according to the government, that date is August the 15th, that cruises can start up again in Italy. MSC, which is a little further along than Costa, had provided a lot more details toward the relaunch. They're planning on using the Grandiosa, which normally accommodates up to 6,300 people, and the Magnifica, which has a capacity of 3,200 people. MSC said that it anticipated that cruises would only be available for residents in the Shenzhen region. That's one of the European regions. And that it would limit capacity to 70% to permit social distancing, saying that it had already received approval from several countries, including Greece and Malta. MSC expects to resume their cruising with those two ships operating in the Mediterranean, with the Grandiosa on Western Mediterranean, the Magnifica on Eastern Mediterranean cruises. They have not announced any further details at this time, but we can only assume that those will be forthcoming on specific dates and sailing ports and all that. So I found this very shocking, especially after the whole business with Rudy Gurton, which was a major story earlier in the week. Well, now, as of yesterday, they have temporarily suspended all expedition sailings on the Roald Amundsen and the I can't pronounce, I'm not good with Norwegian names, folks, Nansen and the Spitsbergen until further notice, after 62 crew members and passengers tested positive on the Amundsen after 2 cruises, and then they tried to cover it up. The Amundsen outbreak, 41 crew members, 21 passengers. Currently, 4 of the crew members that were hospitalized, 2 were discharged, while another 2 have been admitted, so they still have 4 crew members that are hospitalized. So their CEO made all the political statements about, the safety of passengers. And, if you really believe that and did it, why'd you screw up the first 2 cruises that everybody in the world was watching on? But anyway, so they have suspended operations for a while. Yeah, well, they deserve to suspend them. So hopefully MSC and Costa will do a better job of it, because we can't take another slap in the face in this industry. I tell you. A couple other stories to look over. The Disney finally came in line with the rest of the world and suspended operation until November 1st. Of course, that's not surprising. I mean, everybody else has. So they pretty much had to come along with it. Weather-wise, we need to take a look at a couple things. In the weather situation, there's one front down there in the Atlantic. Doesn't look like much. They're not counting on a whole lot of development, 10% chance. Several hundred miles west-southwest of Cabo Verde. Not much there. But the situation that we probably need to mention and be watching is on the Pacific side of things. Now that's a whole different story. Showers and thunderstorms associated with a broad area of low pressure located a few hundred miles southwest of the Gulf of Tahunapec or something like that. And one of those long Spanish words. I just don't do well with some of the native speak folks. Sorry about that. Tahunapec. There you go. Gulf Tahunapec. Anyway, that shows some considerable signs of organization. Environmental conditions are forecast to be conducive for further development, and a tropical depression is likely to form during the next couple of days. They're talking about a 70% chance in the next 40 hours, 90% chance in the next 5 days. So that's going to at least become a depression, and then we'll have to see if it goes on from depression to becoming a tropical storm and hurricane. So you got to take steps one at a time. And the first step, it looks like it's going to form into the next step. So we'll keep an eye on that. A couple other things I wanted to mention, and I'll keep them short today since I spent a little bit of time on Jason's rant this morning. Hawaii. If any of you were planning on going to Hawaii for a vacation, maybe you ought to think about that. Following a record of new cases, COVID statewide, Hawaii's governor and the Honolulu mayor are bringing back swinging restrictions that were in place at the beginning of the pandemic, and creating a special police unit to cite and arrest violators. Starting on Tuesday, people traveling from Oahu to the neighboring islands will be required to quarantine for 2 weeks upon their arrival in Kauai, Hawaii, Maui, or Kalawao. Governor David Inge says at a press conference yesterday that the quarantine rule would apply to all international travel, all inter-island travel, and his office sent out a press release saying it will only affect travelers arriving in Kauai, Hawaii, Maui, and Kalawao, not Oahu. Because of the surge in cases in Oahu, all the county mayors agree that additional measures are necessary to make sure cases do not spread. So they have shut down everything virtually in Oahu currently, and it's not likely to change. the inter-island travel quarantine is back and will be going strong. So there is no traveling back and forth from any of the islands currently. Not sure how that will affect travel from continental United States, if it's allowed at all. You might be able to fly there, but I'm not sure what you could do once you get there. So Hawaii is not a good place to think about going currently. One other thing on the agenda this morning has to deal with the CDC. Some of you may already know this, some of you may not. But I spent some time on the CDC website today, which they did have some on the website. They do have some masks featured. So, people, if you don't have a mask, you can go to the CDC website and get one, order one. But anyway, the main reason that I was looking at it is the vessel sanitation program that the cruise industry goes through. Did you know that CDC is supposed to inspect 2 times a year all of the cruise ships that cruise out of United States ports? I wasn't aware of that, but that's the way it is. Now, obviously, a ship that's, is over in Europe, for instance, they're not going to inspect it over there, but as soon as it comes back in the States, it's going to be inspected. But anyway, twice a year, they go on every ship and do a complete vessel sanitation program testing. And it's really extensive. The story goes through all of the stuff that they have to look for and the things that they have to do. And it's pretty extensive set of circumstances. So it was a good read. It's worth looking up if you ever want to take a look at it. The one thing that kind of surprised me was that each cruise ship has a maximum score of 100. Now, I have taken health department tests for years in my business. So I know what it takes to get 100. I mean, you pretty much, if you're dealing with food, well, obviously cruise ships are dealing with food and a lot more. But if you're dealing with food, you better get 100 on those tests. If not, you're going to have the health department up your butt constantly. In a 2-year period from 2018 to 2020, of all the cruise ships that sailed from American ports or in American waters that fall under the jurisdiction of the CDC, these are the ships that had 100 score from 2018 to 2020. P&O, the Aurora. Carnival, the Valor. Celebrity, the Reflection. Disney, the Dream and the Wonder. Holland America, New Amsterdam. Norwegian, the Sky. Rhapsody, the Seas of Royal Caribbean. Princess, the Ruby, Princess and Sea Princess. Seabourn Quest, and the Viking had 3, the Sea, the Sky, and the Star. That's it. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 cruise ships out of some 300. Wow. And we wonder why the CDC is opposed to getting cruises going again. I'm sorry, guys. A lot of this you brought on yourself over years of mishandling and mismanagement. And man, with the COVID situation, I hope to goodness you get your act together, because there's a lot of us out here that want to go cruising again. I'm one of them. But I'm telling you, until the CDC gives a green light, it's not going to happen. And I just hope that Europe starts and gets going successfully. Man, we need that to work. So enough for ranting this morning. Let's go look at comments and chats and so forth. Amy was the first person in the house this morning. Goodness gracious, Amy, you must have set your alarm yesterday. Pete's here. He said he had to go. He had a food delivery coming, so he might have to leave. Tom Henry says, blast off. And hello, everyone. Gretchen's with us. Gretchen in Ohio. Nikki's here. Hi, Nikki. How you doing? Pete is catering our chat today. Yeah, he's getting all this food in. Let's get some damn food out, Pete. What the hell's wrong with you over there? Yeah, we're coming for dinner, breakfast. No, dinner. Be dinner over there. So, Tom says his aunt in a nursing home was moved yesterday due to a positive. That could be, and she's 93. Wow, sorry to hear that, Tom. Yeah, man, I know what Jason's thinking, not only of that half of his family, he's thinking of this half of my family too. I mean, now I'm 71. My sister's 10 years older than I am, and her better half's 5 years older than she is. So we're getting old. So I know exactly that's what, that has to be on Jason's mind as well. So anyway, what does Pete say here? Hi, Gretchen. We have a test Facebook. Oh, yeah, we have a cocktail party. Oh, that's right. That is today. We're testing a new group thing for a cocktail party. So that's this afternoon. So that means I got to go get in the pool and come back in quickly so we can test the cocktail party. Actually, it's going to be hot here today. It's going to be up in the 90s again, folks. So, yes, as soon as I get off the air, I'm going to get in the water. And Pete says, Tom, it's got fish and chips. Man, I tell you what, I'd be happy with that. I love English fish and chips. That was my favorite thing when I've been in England. I bounced around all kinds of pubs just to eat fish and chips. I really enjoyed that. Cindy's with us. Hey, Cindy. Good morning, she says. Tom Henry says, steak and kidney pie. Yeah, and Pete mentions the Cruz Amigos page, which I mentioned. The link is up there at the top of the chat, folks. Feel free to go visit us. MSC start in a week. Oh, boy. Let's hope that that's successful. Let's hope that they do things better than Rudy Gruten did. Because they certainly screwed things up. So anyway, Emily's with us. Hello, Emily. Glad to have you here. Pete's looking forward to the cocktail party tonight. His glass is ready. Pete with his wine. I have a fresh bottle of bourbon that I purchased. So that I'll be ready. I ran out Wednesday for that cocktail party. I ended up emptied my bottle getting it ready. So I got a fresh bottle to crack for tonight, y'all. So anyway, by the way, if you guys have not stopped in on the cocktail parties, y'all too. We have a lot of fun. We've spent about an hour and we could chat about anything. Literally. I mean, who knows where it's going to lead us. But we've got a bunch of people that from over there that talk funny like Pete does. Now we got several ladies from Scotland that talk even funnier than Pete does. And of course I tease the hell out of all of them. But we have a good time. And then we've got, a bunch of us here from the States. Emily's usually there. Gretchen's been coming. We got Kim from out in Portland's been there. Sonny and several other people. But we have a nice time. And we just have a little adult beverage, most of us. John, when he comes from Minnesota, he doesn't drink anymore, so he has a water, but that's okay. He can pretend that it's a bourbon and water. So Nikki says, you're making me hungry. Fish and chips, please. Boy, I'm with you on that. Amy says that Emma pointed out on her latest video that had virus, didn't follow their own protocols. What's the point of having them if you don't follow them? That was my, I don't want to get political here, folks. I was all behind the administration up to the point where they set the protocols out to open stuff. And the very next day, they let all those governors start opening without following their own protocols. That's when the president should have kicked ass, excuse my French. But he let the Republican governors, I'm saying Republicans, because most of the bad states were Republicans that just opened with no way to do it. And that was a major mistake. But, and we're paying the price for it now. So, you got the protocols, follow them, people. Good Lord. It's not, it's a bad situation, but it can be beaten. Give us 3 weeks that the majority of people wear masks and see where we are. And I bet you the numbers would be significantly less in this country. And by the way, folks, my rant and Jason's rant this morning, that's not aimed at you folks in Europe at all. You guys are light years ahead of us. I just hope it stays that way. Even the spikes over there, but they've got it set up where they can do the contact tracing so that you can stay on top of it, it appears to me. So that's not aimed at all at you folks over there. That's aimed at our people in this country. And Jason's family, they all went to the beach. That's where the 8 of them went that all came positive. It was from a health situation, but then they all went to the beach. I'm sorry, maybe you want to, in this country, you want to make a second thought about going to the beach in the middle of a pandemic that's out of control. Okay, I'll quit ranting. There was a really damning article on Cruise Law News today. The doctors on Hurtigruten are in big doo-doo. Yep. And as much as I don't like Jim Walker at all, and I've disagreed with him with a number of things, as it turns out, Jim Walker was pretty much right on this one. His slant was a little off, but its facts were slightly off, but the general point, he was correct. I have to give him credit there. So, but yeah, Rudy Gruden's, they caused a major malfunction. So, let's see. Gretchen getting Emily and Nikki coming for cocktails. That'd be cool. Pete says he really fears MSC will do much damage restarting too soon. I hope not, Pete. And I hope they got their act together. Because I'm telling you, if we have another screw up like Hurtigruten did, you can just wipe everything out for at least another year until we've got a vaccine and it's been, it goes out worldwide and people take the damn thing. That's the other thing. You're going to have 50% of the people that won't wear a mask and will say, oh, I'm not taking a vaccine. That's against my rights. I'll just be sick and keep everybody sick. Jackasses. I quit ranting. I keep trying to say that I'll quit ranting. So yeah, let's get back to talking about food. Amy Rogers, crab meat and chips. Yum. Oh, that does sound good. Crab cakes and chips. I can deal with that too. Everybody's onto the food thing now. That's cool. Jason's with us. Hey, Jason, good to see you up in Pittsburgh. Jason has lost his cruise this week. He's going in January, folks. And I tell you what, I've got it marked on my calendar. I don't know that I can safely travel by January, but I'm certainly going to at least consider that. I would love to, if things would get straightened up by then. We got to get things straightened up. Got to be able to travel comfortably to the ship, at least for us old folks. Jason, you're young enough. You can do some things that I can't do right now. I admit that, because I'm in that older category that's susceptible to major problems. But anyway, I got it on my calendar, Jason, man. I'd love to join you. I really would. Hey, John's here. John Reitmeyer is in the house from Crookston, Minnesota. It's probably snowing in Minnesota. Close to it. John is with us. Good to have you here, John. Let's see. How do we know it's English fish and chips? The fish holds out its little finger when it's drinking tea. Yes, that's right. The English fish drinks tea with the finger up in the air. Good one, John. I like that. MSC in their press release says they will cover any medical expenses incurred for anyone who catches a virus on their ships. Yeah, but man, we want it. We want people to go on this cruise without getting sick. That's what we need, folks. That's honest. That's the major thing. Let's get people on and off the boat, getting them back home without getting sick. So, cocktails are fun. What time is the party, Jason? It's 4:00 our time today. We're doing a Saturday one today. 4:00. Yeah, 4:00. Eastern Daylight Time. Yeah, and the link will be, it's on, my page. The links there, we have the link everywhere. But anyway, you can get it off of me. You can get it off of the Cruises for Solos page. But anyway, and the link, well, this is going to be a little different today because we're trying a different platform. So it's not the regular link from Wednesday. Wednesday link's set up for the whole month. So I'm not sure. I think we're doing a different platform today. I don't even know. I've been so busy, I haven't really paid any attention to it yet. But anyways, I'll be there wherever it is. Emily says, I think they opened too early. Should have waited. Yep, that's the problem with 3/4 of the states in this country. Emily says, ran on. Hell, I've done enough ranting today. Jason still can't stand with Jim Walker. Yeah, boy, we're in the same, but that man, it's for somebody that deals with the cruise industry, he's sure anti-cruising a lot. And I really wanted him to have been wrong about this whole hurdy-gurdy thing, but it turns out he wasn't, unfortunately. And Jason says, I think Chillie needs a drink. Hell yes, I do. No, not yet. I'll get one this afternoon. What port do you port from, Jason? Yeah, it's Port Canaveral because she's moving up to Port Canaveral now. So anyway, that's cool. So, all right, that's going to wrap me up, folks. You guys have a great weekend. don't forget, we got the cocktail party this afternoon. We've got the Cruise Amigos tomorrow afternoon. And I really would like to have a good bunch of folks in the audience for that. It's going to be a fun show with Shane from Virgin Voyages, and we can talk about the differences of Virgin and everybody else and what they're doing and how they're going to get started and just all kinds of stuff. It's going to be an interesting show and one that I am really, really looking forward to. And then next week on Cruises for Solos, Cruise Amigos, we have Lady Mora from Alaska, who's a blogger, vlogger, does videos and does some neat Alaskan adventures on her own. She's going to be a pretty interesting young lady to talk to. That'll be a week from Sunday. So that's all coming up on the Cruise Amigos. So go check out the page and like us, folks. We'd appreciate that. That's going to wrap me up for today. You guys have a great weekend. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, stay out of trouble, all that stuff. We'll see you for cocktails this afternoon and see you tomorrow for the Cruise Amigos. And, of course, if anything major happens between now and Tuesday when we do the next episode of Travel and Cruise Industry News, I'll get it posted as quickly as possible. So that's it for now. This is the old fat travel guy. You guys have a great weekend.
Thank you for watching today's Travel and Cruise Industry News. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.